I tell you guys something that's a little TMI? It's funny to me. It's not like it's. I don't know why I feel like sharing this. So here's the real world of medications. Apparently, I found out from my doctor that when you take a SSNI, which is a selective serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, you can in low doses mimic an SSRI or a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And what those are usually used for is depression. And you'll notice that a lot of depression meds tend to cause issues with sex. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Or potentially can at any rate.
Potentially can.
Yeah.
So Mom has been experimenting with a lot of kink and a lot of fun, and it's been really good. We own a riding prop now. Yay me. And the problem is, because it can duplicate those effects, what happened is that I have been really, really turned on. I've also been reading an excessive amount of Yuri.
This makes my life interesting because I just tease Jess constantly.
So a couple things have come out of this, and this is where we talk about some personal growth. One is that me, can't come without doing the Konami code or something to that level of explosive capabilities. Like it's really complicated, long, and chafing. Like that's how bad it is. I've gotten it literally in a month to work once.
Out of daily Yuri reading for like hours.
Well,
and
Yuri reading and then also like stuff with Zena. The stuff. Yeah. It's really not great. Other sort of personal things for me is that I've also started realizing that now that my anxiety has gone down thanks to the new medication, and also because I have been sort of reconnecting with a lot of my sexuality lately. Zena and I have been engaging in more kink stuff. That's been really fun. I've also been doing a lot more topping, which is really fun. I really like it. And as such, my point with all this is that lately I am now stuck in this bizarre paradox of constantly horny and not horny. I am the Schrodinger's sex drive, if you will.
This is the real life content that y'all come here for.
So yeah, that's the stuff that Mom is dealing with right now. Of I have a wonderful partner. I have a really good sex life with them, and we are very, very excited. Because of a lot of the Yuri reading and a lot of the stuff I've been doing, I have decided I want to do SRS now. And so I've got a consultation scheduled for November. Really excited about that. Mm-hmm. And the goal is to, I don't know, I need my body to match. It's not really a question of like, is, girl dick this, that. It absolutely is. You're still a woman, all that. I just feel like, and like all joking aside, I need my body to look a specific way. And as time has gone on, one part has remained not the same. It has changed, but it remains similar enough to where it makes it very hard for me to, I'm trying to figure out how to say this gently. I struggle with looking at myself as woman or woman adjacent because of that part. Now, that's not to say that if I had like a trans girl partner and she, had a penis, that would be a problem. Wouldn't be. I'd suck dick all day. But the problem is, for me, it doesn't match. And so it's not to make this a claim that this is true for everyone. This is just for me. That doesn't match for me. And there's another part to this which is a little bit dicey to talk about. But that is, as you guys all know, your mom's a giant lesbian. And as such, I really like girl and girl adjacent people. And one of the things that I've noticed is that in being sexual or doing reading and being in this constantly sort of sub-horny space kind of thing, the issue that I'm finding is that by all rights and privileges, it feels weird for me to claim that term when my body is not quite where I feel like it needs to be for me to be there. And so that's been a big thing. So that's a serious note. The not coming thing is just funny.
Well, and a lot of this stuff is I think what we're getting at too is just acknowledging that this is a very much like internal process, very much something that is, like your brain does things, right? Like when we talk about self-schema, right? I think it's important to understand that there's some stuff that's a combination of stuff that is just inborn, different brain chemicals firing off, all of these different things, genetic stuff that like we just don't have data about, but know that probably there's some element there for. And then there's also other ways that your gender identity is constantly developing over time, right? It never really stops. It's something that, when you're born, right, you're a baby, you're a child, and as you grow, you are exposed to gender everything more and more and more as you age, right? And so there does seem to be a way that this stuff's really internal, and that's why we're kind of careful when we're talking about this, just because we really want to make sure that like people understand that like all of the different experiences are valid, right?
Well, and
also claim our own. Also being able to claim your own is what it is.
Well, and the reason I'm trying to be very careful with my language as well is that like one of the issues is that in dealing with the trans community, who is ever so frustrating. I love all of you, but some of you guys are just fucking bothersome. And the problem is that as much as there are, trans meds who will make the argument that being trans is a mental illness, due to dysphoria, yada, yada, you must medically transition. On the other side of it, there are people who are very hardcore gender abolitionists or gender liberationists who, don't think you should have to do anything to transition. And one level, I agree with that your identity is ontologically true regardless of your presentation.
Well, in the should statement, right? The you shouldn't have to, right? There's no requirement.
Yeah.
As far as that, like, no, I'm super on board with the you shouldn't have to do any particular thing. However, clearly transitioning is a thing that is needed for people.
Well, and the thing is that a lot of times you'll see this with like, you'll see a well-off or a very lucky trans woman go through a surgery, and you'll see that person get some shit in the community. People will talk shit. This happens a lot with FFS. Because there are those who feel like you shouldn't have to change your face, which no one's saying you should. You just do that if you feel like it. The same thing is actually true with people who get SRS. You'll see some people who think that to do that is the bad.
Mm-hmm. That you are somehow giving in to, society by doing these things. When really that connection, that's probably really only one component of somebody's gender identity. Like, the messaging that you're taking in is only one thing. It's not the whole picture of your gender identity. It's not. Right? That would be absolutely silly if the only thing about gender identity we knew was what society said. Like, they got lots of toxic shit, and fuck if I want to participate in all of it.
Yeah, and that's my problem is that like I feel like people always, we've talked about this before and we'll talk about this during the mega segment, but again, one of the arguments that I want to make is that fascistic authoritarian behavior doesn't start with nation states or with towns or villages. It starts at the home inside a human being. And it actually starts from Echo's, 14 characteristics, which if you look at them are really just very specific versions of distorted thinking. And so the argument that I'm trying to sort of put together with Zena and trying to get very clear on this is in a lot of cases, I feel like both sides, that is the trans med and the hyper, trans liberation folks, have a lot of fear because with trans meds, it's you're making us not look good. This is putting me in danger, which is bullshit. But the fear is legitimate. The actual thing causing the fear, the idea is not, right? Emotions are valid, but the thought thing that does it can often not be. And the thing is on the other side with the liberation folks is I think it's the same thing. I think it's fear. If you're someone who is not well off and you can't afford things, you get into the issue of like Contra talked about with envy, or you get into issues where you want to control or shame someone about their transition. And I find that like, I don't know, I just find that this stuff is really, really hard. I've had to do a lot of soul searching over the last 2-3 years. To decide what I even want to do about bottom surgery. If I want to do it, do I not want to do it? Do I want to do the lulzy, penile preservation one so I can look like a Fuda? And at the end of the day, like, I just want to feel right in my body. I want to look down and not see that thing. And this is the joke answer, but it is partially true. I also just want a partner or partners to wear strap-ons and see what happens, because I've never been fucked in that way, and that might be interesting, and I'm not really interested in butt stuff, so that sounds kind of neat. Also, just to be fair, vagina having people have way cooler toys. Can we be honest about that? Like, guys get jack shit. Penis having people get fucked on this. Not in a good way. But like, holy shit, the amount of toys that you can get as an AFAB person or a person with a vagina, you are in luck. So yeah, so that's my little spiel. Shalibity, feel free to just turn that section as updates of Jess, and we'll have to edit it to make it it fits on the channel, but that we can call that a segment. But that's our thoughts. I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what was going on with me, and some of my thoughts about it. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, consider donating to us. You can support us on our website, transgirltherapist.org. You can also help us on our Patreon, link below, or you can become a member here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.